For the record, despite the fact that I'm lethally removing these invasive bullfrogs, I love frogs. I fanatically love frogs. So it's one of these situations where the work I'm doing is the best for the ecosystem and the native species. But I really do love frogs. While everybody else is sleeping soundly, I'm out here doing the good work, taking care of these invasive bullfrogs. Man, I wish I had my mud boat. Looks like the ground's starting to dry up. Probably after the end of this week, I'll be able to get it in here and really start working. But I'm walking for now. There's another one right there. I gotta reload. Oftentimes people ask me why am I targeting bullfrogs? Well, for one, it's the contract that I was able to win to do this bullfrog eradication. But two, bullfrogs are native to the East Coast, and their natural range spreads out into the Midwest. But here in the Pacific Northwest, in Washington, they are an invasive species, and they are one of the most voraciously feeding invasive species that there is. If they were the size of cougars or bears, we would probably have more concern about them than the cougars and bears, because they will eat anything and everything that they think they can fit in their mouth, even when sometimes they can't get it down. And that's left a lot of our native amphibians threatened or endangered. The main example is leopard frogs, where in Washington they've been listed as endangered since 1999, and there's only one natural population of them living in the state. And so this area, while it's not completely secluded and closed off from the influences of the greater river system, it's fairly well secluded. And so the tribe has decided that they are going to do the best they can with my help to eradicate the bullfrogs so that they can reintroduce leopard frogs and hopefully have a beautiful success story for the return of leopard frogs in the state, at least in this area. So that's why I'm doing it. On a fairly regular basis, I will actually have folks come out and help me for bullfrog. You can see that glowing eye. There's a good adult frog right there. But when they come out, what you find is that the normal headlights that most people carry in their pack really are inadequate, not only for the time that they last, but the level of brightness. I've got this Coast Portland light, and actually I've got a few of them, and I've been running them for about 4 or 5 years with the oldest ones, and You know, you have all your different levels of brightness, but you have an over bright that you can press, and for a minute, I believe, or 30 seconds or something, it gets super bright. And they're indispensable lights. So if anybody's looking for a good headlight, I'd highly recommend the Coast Portland lights. This one is the first breeding size frog that we've seen today. And she got away from me a couple days ago. I hit her, but she didn't die. But I got her this time. This is a female. You can tell by the size of the tympanum on the ear there. On the males, it's much larger, and that's what they use to resonate when they're doing their croaking. On the females, they're much smaller, about the same size as the eye. So this is a great removal. She is fat and full of eggs, I'm sure, among other things. So this is one that I will do a stomach contents analysis on to see what she's been feeding on. Oh, I just heard the first bullfrog croaks of the year. So I need to get my boat in the water ASAP. Like, the weather has warmed up over the last couple days, and obviously I'm having a better day than I have in the last week or so. So they're becoming more active, and they're starting to call, which means they're starting to breed, and we will lose 2 years of work if we allow those frogs to breed. So we need to get them and get them out of the water before they deposit their egg clusters in the water. Bullfrog tadpoles are in the water for 2 to 3 years, and so the more we allow to hatch and take to the water as tadpoles, we just prolong our project by 2 years. So my mud boat's ready. I'm comfortable with it, and I've got the break-in done as of today, and so I will have to probably trouble the tribe to come in with. They got a tracked quad with a trailer hitch, so they'll see if they can't haul my boat in for me. As soon as I get that oil change done tomorrow. Oh, there's another one. That happens a lot of times. They take off on you. These frogs have been hunted for several years now. We've reached that point where the ambient temperature of the air is lower than the temperature of the water, and so it starts to fog up, which is real fun when you're on the boat. Luckily, I got this area pretty well memorized, and Onyx helps me navigate to where I need to go as well. This is one of the wider portions of the creek system. It's probably, I don't know, 150 yards across. This creek system, the area that I'm working and that I have access to, is about 2 miles of total creek. So a pretty good sized area with banks on both sides, and then little inlets in and out that I gotta go up. So I spend 5 months of the year, about 15 days a month, 75 days a season, hunting bullfrogs. It's a cool thing when you can measure the success of your job in frogs. All right, it's about 2 a.m. at this point. I'm making my way back towards my truck, but I'll be walking these banks. I walked them out, but oftentimes we find more frogs right where you walked. See that white spot right there in the middle of the screen? Right there. Well, that's a feather. I can't tell you how many feathers that I've stalked thinking it might be a frog. Right there in the center of the screen is not a leaf. It's a little frog. Like I said, I walked through here earlier. Sometimes the angle that you're at just doesn't allow you to see the eyes reflecting, or oftentimes they're just not out yet. Oh crap, I'm not loaded. Alright, he stayed there. Let's try this again. I'm just starting to find frogs along the main channel. Mostly they're in these little flooded areas that still have water late into the year when they normally don't. And the water, because they're so shallow, is warmer. So the frogs have been out in there. Oh, there's one right there. Oh, there it is. I got it. It was sunk. All right. I'm leaving the frogging area. I got about 3/4 of a mile walk back to my truck. I'm on that. In case you're wondering, there is actually a lot of science and data collection going on. I record data for every frog that I take, and then every one that I'm not sure about as well. The first year that I was doing it, we also were doing citrid fungus. It's an amphibian fungus sampling on the frogs, and a few samples did return with positive results. Positive meaning they were positive for the amphibian fungus. And then roughly 10% of the frogs I collect of decent size. I do a stomach content analysis as well, so I have to open them up and see what they've been eating, and then I weigh out every frog as well. So the tribe gets a lot of good data from it, and like on a night like tonight, I'll put a note on tonight when I hear the first frog croaking, so we, year after year, we'll get a better database of information that shows, about when the breeding activity starts or stops, and that'll benefit us in the future by collecting that data. So while there is a invasive species genocide going on, there's also a lot of scientific data that's being provided for it. And I just found out that a number of other groups have looked at the efforts and saw the success of the program that we're doing out here, and have started other groups with the intent and purpose to eradicate the invasive bullfrogs from their areas as well. So it's kind of cool to be one of the main characters in this ongoing conservation story. All right, y'all. Well, I'm not gonna bore you with my walk. You have a great rest of your night. I'm gonna go home, get some sleep, do a little work tomorrow, and then be back out here again.